As the fuel prices continue to go up, Jeep is expanding their electrification strategy with this, the brand new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe plug-in hybrid. In this video, I'm going to show you all the way around it, tell you everything you need to know about this latest luxurious, premium, powerful, quick, and also fairly efficient SUV, four-wheel drive. And not just this overland I'll also show you underneath the chassis, so stay tuned for that. But let's start with the Jeep Grand Cherokee I have right here. It is an overland model, which is kind of in the mid-range of the Grand Cherokee lineup, and it's shown here in this very beautiful red color. But here are a couple of clues that tell you that this is a plug-in. First of all, it's these massive tow hooks up front that are painted blue. And also, if you look carefully, most of the badges, in fact, pretty much all of them on the exterior, have this little blue outline to them to tell you that this is a little bit more efficient and high-tech powertrain, which also has a premium interior and many features. I'll tell you the price in a second. It has this key. This is, after all, the 5th generation brand new Grand Cherokee that's also on sale now. And now this plug-in version is here. Here's where you charge it. I'll tell you more about this when I show you the chassis exactly, but it's about, if you're completely drained your battery, it's about 3.4 hours to fully charge this one. Let me unlock it. Let's jump in on the inside, because this interior you got to see. This is not one of the most premium interiors, but it's still nonetheless very nice. Beautiful leather. Above this model there is also the Summit and the Summit Reserve, and these seats are quite soft. They have a massage feature, heated and cooling, and this also shows off their technology. And so you have up to 7 screens, and I'll show you most of them, all of them. So jump inside and let me start this up. The Jeep comes to life. And actually the seats, the bolsters moved. They hugged me a little. That's pretty neat. I'm gonna put the key here in the cup holder for now. And as you can see, leather wrapped steering wheel, basically leather wrapped dashboard. So let's count the screens. So the first one is actually the heads-up display. There's an opening right here. It tells me information like my speed, some navigation, instructions and directions. Of course, there's another gauge screen right here, 10 inches in diagonal, with lots of information shown right here. My modes, my suspension, my drive modes, total fuel, total range, etc. Then there is a center screen. Also 10 inches in diameter. This is the latest Uconnect 5 system, and I still think this is one of the best and intuitive systems in the industry. They have these widgets, they call them, and you can edit on the home screen basically any widgets you want, and you can add, let's see if I can add the camera, or at least like a power flow or something on my home screen if I want to monitor different things. Here you go. Of course, front and back, all the way around. All those cameras are also available. Surround view, etc. Now the passenger has their own screen right there, so the passenger can control things like navigation, music, rear infotainment system, many different auxiliaries. You have your controls right there. So the passenger can also watch something, and they can do that because there's a filter on the screen, so I cannot see, as a driver, I cannot really see what's going on that screen. I can only see a bit of a reflection. There's a unique button right here, and this is for max regen. So for example, if you're driving in mountainous terrain, you can click this on really quick. It's basically a hard shortcut, and you're basically getting almost a one pedal drive system where it will regen for you and put some energy back into the battery. Now here in the center console, if you've seen a Grand Cherokee before, this will be pretty familiar. Here's my phone, wireless charging, USB, USB-C, HDMI, everything, 12 volt. Everything is available here. My drive modes are on this toggle. My, of course, reverse drive transmission control, it's an 8-speed automatic, and my suspension height is right here, and my 4-low all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system switch is right here. How about this? Before I show you some of the other tech, tell you about price and also some of the other features, how about I switch over to the other studio I was in and show you the chassis. I'll show you underneath everything, all the details, because they're quite neat, and then you'll learn the power and how it's laid out. Here it is, guys. This is what's underneath the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, the plug-in hybrid. And I'm really happy that Jeep actually provided this chassis for us to look at, because there's a lot going on here. So let's start in the front. This is showing their tow hook, the front tow hook setup, which is quite interesting actually, because if you look, they say this is capable of pulling about 10,000 pounds each. But if there is a front collision, they're kind of designed to go backwards a little bit, as you can see here, and they're attached all the way on this side. So even the tow hook has a lot of engineering built into it. Then let's look at the power plant. And one thing that's really obvious, so this is kind of the front bumper area to the front of the 4-cylinder 2-liter engine. Look at the space. This is almost 2 feet. And if you look from the side, this is almost a mid-engine setup, because this is your front axle line kind of going this way, and the engine is really tucked in right next to the firewall here by the passenger compartment. And they actually were able to lower it too. If you look, these are the front drive shafts. Of course, it's 4-wheel drive, and they were able to lower the entire engine and run part of the drive shaft through a part of an oil pan. So yeah, pretty clever engineering here as far as packaging is concerned. Right here you can see electrically assisted steering rack that's actually connected up there through the towards the steering wheel. Now, electric components, right? So on this side, it's an electrically powered AC compressor right here. On this side, this is the starter generator. This is the first electric motor. And this basically can kick on the gas-powered power plant whenever it needs to be kicked on. But it doesn't have to be running, of course. It's a plug-in hybrid. I'll show you the batteries in a second. Like I said, this is a 2-liter turbocharged straight 4 engine. Here's the turbocharger. They're saying it's twin scroll, very high tech. This engine has been in many other Jeep vehicles, so this is not a brand new application of this engine. It's just now made it to an electric motor and plug-in hybrid system. Very similar setup to what's available in the 4xe Wrangler, actually. Over here, of course, there's the charge port, and you can see what's behind it. Some of the high voltage wires. This is capable of 7 kilowatts of charging, so basically level 2. Even can be supported at your house. So if you install a 240 volt circuit charger in your garage, you'll be able to charge this plug-in Jeep in about, if it's completely empty on charge, in about 3.4 hours, they say. These are the batteries. One here, for a combined of 17.3 approximately kilowatt hours. And they're packaged underneath the floor. So let's look down here. They're saying this is super heavy, 3.5 millimeter steel skid plates that protect on every Grand Cherokee plug-in, protect the battery compartment. And this is all the way down. This chassis, of course, doesn't have the air suspension enabled, But if you raise it all the way up into the maximum height, you will have 10.9 inches of ground clearance right here, which is important for any Jeep, of course. So that's going to be available. I think this is pretty interesting how they packaged it, because of course it's lowering the skid plate a little bit, but they're using the air suspension to lift it back up and actually provide enough ground clearance. So up to here approximately, this is the transmission, which is an 8-speed ZF. You could see ZF right there. But up here, where the torque converter would normally be, there is a main powerful electric motor right there. And when it's combined with a 4-cylinder engine, maximum horsepower combined is 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. And Jeep says 0 to 60 is possible in 6 seconds, which is, according to Jeep, is quicker than the V8 version by about a second. And of course, it's quicker than the V6 version. So this is very, very powerful and torquey. Yep, so that's where the electric motor is actually sitting. And this is capable of 25 miles of all-electric mode driving, all-electric, and up to highway speeds. So all that is possible. Jeep said they actually ran it all electric mode over the Rubicon Trail as well. Then you have your transfer case. This is your transfer case, including 4Low, especially in the Trailhawk model for the off-road model of the Grand Cherokee. And of course, your drive shafts going to the back with the exhaust system and everything packaged in the same space. You could see the exhaust system coming out here. There's a few more components like this. This is basically a DC to AC converter because the batteries are running direct current. The motor is running alternating current. So you have to do all those conversions, including the batteries are in 400 volt system. And of course, there's a 12 volt system here in the car as well. Over there, we have a couple of other components. There's a cooling loop for the batteries. There's also the charger. So like I said, 7 kilowatt is capable. It's capable of up to 7 kilowatt charging. So this is not DC fast charging. This is AC charging still. You might be asking this, but all 5th gen Grand Cherokees, including the L, have this front suspension design where this front arm is very close to the front tire. So if you did want to upsize your wheels and tires, especially the tires for off-roading, this could be a problem. Jeep said they're looking into other potential solutions later down the line. But what you could maybe do is do a spacer, move the wheel a little bit out or a lot out, and try to add a larger wheel. But it's very difficult to do right now. The fuel tank would actually be in this area here. It's not shown. Here's, of course, the rear axle, drive shafts. It is an independent suspension in the back. And Jeep is saying you can disconnect the front drive at any moment in time, and also their latest QuadraDrive 2 system is able to send 100% of power to one side or the other. So if you're stuck, if you're on ice, if you're on snow, slippery conditions, you can actually transfer power side to side, and of course front to back as well. This is your muffler and rear chassis. You can see your rear air suspension as well. Rear stabilizer bar, and by the way, the front stabilizer bar is disconnectable on the Trailhawk. It's very hard to see, but let me show you. You can kind of see down here, that component is where the disconnectable front sway bar mechanism is, and it's basically 2 splines with a sleeve over it, and you can either connect both sides or disconnect them for better articulation. So all of that is available. And finally, my favorite thing, of course. Okay, not my favorite thing, but I like towing trailers and bringing stuff along with me. This is where the hitch is. You can see it's mounting using these bolts into some of the chassis components here. 6,000 pounds is maximum towing capacity. You also see your tow hook in the back here. So yeah, a lot going on, but this thing is capable of a lot of performance, a lot of torque, a lot of power, electric driving. Maximum range is 470 miles when you're using your full fuel tank and your full battery system. Whew, that's a lot. So let's go back outside and finish with the Jeep. I showed you 4 screens already. This is the 5th one. The rear view camera screen, which is pretty helpful. This is not really new, but it is there. Now let's transition to the rear seat, and I'll show you some of the technology there. This is a 2-row version of the Grand Cherokee. Of course, they also have the new L version, which actually adds a little bit more length and a 3-row configuration. But this Overland is equipped also with this infotainment system right here in the back, climate control settings, heated seats. I mean, this is truly a premium vehicle. USB connections, your 150 watt outlet, 120 or 115 volt in this case. And of course, each of the rear passengers has their own screen. Fire TV is available. You can of course plug in your own HDMI devices. And then you have, of course, your center armrest. This Grand Cherokee has the panoramic roof. This reclines. Take a look at this. Rear seat reclines. I'm just over 6'2". I have legroom. I'm sitting behind myself. I do have headroom right here. I do have shades. We are in Texas. The sun is pretty intense, so I can shade myself here. You might be wondering now about competition, right? What does this Grand Cherokee compete against? Well, actually, in this price range, so let's start with that. The 4xe plug-in starts at $57,700 before destination charges. So you're pushing close to the $60,000 mark. And that's more of a simple version, not fully optioned version of the plug-in. So you're around 59 grand. In this area, there's quite a few competitors, or at least in the upper $60,000 to $70,000 range. There are competitors like BMW X5 plug-in. There's the Volvo crossovers like the XC60 and XC90. There is also the Lincoln plug-in hybrids, including the Aviator, which actually is a little bit higher in the price range. So there's actually many different options in this premium SUV space. Then there's also the Trailhawk version of this, and we have an off-road version coming a bit later to TFL Off-Road channel, where I'm going to show you how this new plug-in actually goes off-road. They do all have, or at least these models have air suspensions. So ground clearance and four-wheel drive systems are there, like I showed you. This one right here, with many options, is pushing $74,000. Yes, so it starts at around 59-ish. This one is at 74 plus. So in that price range, of course, you can also, like I said, get a BMW, a Lincoln, a Volvo, and most of them get similar efficiencies. They rate this one at 56 mpge. Like I was telling you, 25 miles of all-electric range. There's some other competitors that can do a little bit more mileage, like the Volvo extended range plug-in, and some a little bit less. So it's kind of in the middle as far as their driving range and efficiency is concerned. So let me finally get outside and close this up. There, like I was saying, blue is the key to the plug-in. That's kind of how you know this is truly the electrified version. And also, of course, this 4xe badge right there on the back. It is discreet. And so let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the pricing, available options. Like I said, it starts as a base 4xe. There's also the Overland, the Trailhawk off-road version. There's a Summit Reserve. Pricing varies, like I said, from about 58, 59 grand into the $75,000 range, where this one is also at. Let me know in the comments below, and go back to TFL-studios.com for everything automotive, including lots of Jeep Grand Cherokee stuff.
We've got some recycled asphalt and recycled concrete coming. In fact, 4 truckloads today to pave what is essentially a mud pit in the springtime. What are the chances of me actually pulling out the skid steer without knocking down the shed?
We'll just take it nice and easy, you know, kind of just
right.
barely come back. You'll be all right.
So are you getting the hang of this thing?
I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah?
I am.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Well, David, that was pretty darn slick the way he just dumped that rock along the road.
Yeah, he saved us a lot of work. As nice a guy as he was, he wasn't willing to go down that hill because he said, it's on you. If I get stuck down there, you got to pull me all the way up. So I figured, we won't take the chance.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Did you get that camera? David.
Did you get that on camera?
I don't think you got it on camera. David, you got a little bit of cow shit on you.
Oh, look, I took a dive.